Good evening, St. Thomas Academy senior parents, and welcome to Spring Senior Parent Night. My name is Brian Edel. I'm the upper school director here at STA. I want to first start with a thank you. I want to thank you for your continued support and for entrusting us with the care for your sons during these unprecedented times. It sure has been a whirlwind of a year, but I know I speak for all the faculty and staff here by saying how grateful we are to have been on campus for the entirety of this year. So the second thing I want to say is the number 18, as in there are 18 school days left for your sons as seniors at St. Thomas Academy. So tonight we're going to go through some of those end of year senior milestone events and details that are so important to wrap up their careers here at STA. So first you'll hear from me and we'll talk through some of the events to cap off their careers here at the Academy, and then we'll turn it over to our college counseling team and to the yearbook staff to go over some of those details as well. So as we always do at St. Thomas Academy, when we gather, I'd like us to start with a prayer, and we're going to pray the prayer of St. Thomas Aquinas. So if you could bow your heads, please. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Grant, O merciful God, that I may ardently desire, prudently examine, truthfully acknowledge, and perfectly accomplish what is pleasing to thee, for the praise and glory of thy name. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. All right. So as I mentioned tonight, we'll be talking through some key calendar dates. I know many of you saw the update that I sent last week, and I appreciate all the kind sentiments that came from that. We'll go through the senior service requirements. As you know, this is a graduation requirement, and we want to make sure that all our boys fulfill that before we hit those cathedral steps. And lastly, speaking of cathedral steps, we'll talk about graduation and some of the logistics and what we can report now, as well as what we have yet to determine as we look to the coming month here in May. So key dates in April, we are coming off senior week, and a big shout out to the student council, excuse me, for organizing this. Really a week-long recognition of our senior students. It's not something that we've ever done before, but nevertheless, we thought it would be important to just give them a little extra pick-me-up and recognition for the activities that they partook in during their careers here. Obviously, we don't do anything without feeding them, so a little extra nourishment went their way last week. And then, of course, it culminated with half-day senior skip day, which from all accounts went really well. So really appreciative of the Student Council for organizing that and for just giving their classmates a lift. Our next event that we have on the calendar is the Archbishop's Review. I did send out an email blast. You should have received this. We are welcoming senior parents there. So 2 parents, and we will have designated spots, not specific to each of you, but where you can sit in the stadium to maintain social distancing guidelines. But if you have never had an opportunity to, I would highly recommend you attend. It's a pretty amazing thing, and the boys did really well with their BFI review. Hopefully you've heard of how that went over with them. They got their ties off, so that was a big event for them, but they performed wonderfully, and I expect the Archbishop's Review with Archbishop Hebda in attendance to go no less spectacularly than it did on BFI. So you're all welcome, and I highly advise you to attend. Q4 mid-quarter is almost upon us, April 30th. So that will give us a good gauge of the academic standing of all of our students, but specifically as it relates to you, the seniors, to check in and make sure that they are hitting all the marks that they need to fulfill their graduation requirements. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later in the presentation, but just know that on April 30th, that's already mid-quarter of Q4. As we roll into May, May becomes a very busy month with events, especially senior-based events. So the first and second, the first being the night of the auction gala, If you haven't had an opportunity to register for that, I understand that there is limited seating available still in the building. So please come out and support the cadets in the community by attending the community auction weekend. AP exams will start on Monday the 3rd, and they will go through Monday the 17th this year. Many of your sons will be taking them, and they'll still be attending their regular classes when they're not in session for an AP exam. So just an FYI that starts on May 3rd already. Seniors' last day of class will be Friday, May 14th. And we will then roll into mill ball, which will be the following night on the 15th. Again, from my notes on my email that I sent to you, mill ball will look a little bit different this year. It'll still be decorated. We'll still do the walkthrough, but we will also have the crack drill performance, and then students will be dismissed for the evening. But we wanted to retain some of those traditional aspects of mill ball while still respecting and adhering to our COVID protocols. So that'll be on May 15th. Again, grand march to be followed by the crack drill performance that night. And then we roll into really the 2 weeks of kind of senior projects and senior volunteer opportunities. On Monday the 17th, we have change of command, and that will involve key personnel, and Colonel and his team will definitely communicate with those students that are affected to attend that. We will do that during regular formation time. Also, hopefully you saw my note on that day that if your son is at that point having a D or lower, or is in danger of failing a class that is required for graduation, we will ask them to attend school that day, and they will work with individual academic counselors or administrators to make a plan so that we have everyone on the cathedral steps on that night of graduation. That is the goal, of course. The next day we have senior retreat, and the boys will be bused to Osceola, Wisconsin, to the ARC Center to have what we have received comments on, that it's a very impactful event for them. It's a culminating event. A lot is shared. You know, it's a good opportunity for reflection, both on their individual time here at STA, but also their collective time as a class. I'm always amazed by just the power of that day and really that night. And it's something that alums report back to us that they remember vividly. So that'll be on the 18th. We will give them the next day off because it is a late night, and they're not in session that day on the 19th. That night, we will, though, have the military awards. So award recipients will be notified prior to that, and the military awards night will take place, I believe, in person. So look for information related to military awards if your son is a recipient of that to come out shortly. The following week, of course, we've got senior service projects. And a big shout out to Mr. Seidel, really, and Mr. Lakin for, in this time of the pandemic, still reaching out to agencies and offering our assistance as a community to them, and for those agencies to receive us. It's been really remarkable, and it's a great opportunity for our boys to give back to the community. So I have a slide a little bit later about senior service projects and senior service, but those are the dates for the senior service projects. It was previously 10 days, and we narrowed it down to 8, and this year we're down to 5. Our last day of school officially as a school, academic day of school, just as an FYI to you senior parents, is May 28th. If you recall, we decided to end a week early so that we could prepare for the long summer of construction that we have ahead of us. We really want to start next school year on time, and so the last day of academic work being done in the school is the 28th of May. And then we'll be at June, and it'll be here before you know it. I think we have a really terrific week, graduation week of events lined up. Some new events, some traditional, but all of them are significant to seniors and to faculty and staff here in the building as well. So the 1st of June, that evening, we'll have our baccalaureate mass. That'll be at 7 o'clock here in the court. The following day, and this is a really cool tradition that the Alumni Association started a couple of years ago, they welcome the seniors into the Alumni Association. So they get their challenge coins, they have a breakfast, and they have a speaker, and they talk about what it means to be an alum of St. Thomas Academy and how to stay connected to the Academy. So it's a wonderful breakfast time, and more information will come out in the next few weeks about that information. And then we'll have graduation practice. We'll host that in the O'Shaughnessy gym here at school. We'll set it up the way that the cathedral will be set up, at least for us. So right now, we're still in a wait and see mode, but we are confident that we'll host the graduation this year at the cathedral. And then a new tradition, or at least we're hoping will be a new tradition, that night will be the senior dinner. And so, like I said in my email to you, Jack's Cafe generously offered to host the boys. And so they'll be there for a class dinner the night before they graduate. They will have a speaker that evening as well. They'll show the senior class video. It should be a really special evening. So I'm looking forward to that. I think the boys will really enjoy it as well. Then the following day, we've got graduation, and more to come on graduation, of course, as COVID protocols ebb and flow. But Father Ubel, STA alum, has been very generous to us and is very willing to work with us to ensure that our boys graduate at the cathedral, that families are present, that the traditions of the Academy live on. And so eternally grateful to Father Ubel for his work and his flexibility in getting us into the cathedral. See a question, and that's a good reminder. There is a question box down in the right corner of your browser. If you have questions, please feel free to type them in there, and as we go through the presentation, we'll do our very best to answer them. And if we're not able to answer them in the moment, we will certainly circle back during the conclusion of the presentation. One question that we received was, what time would the boys be returning from the senior class retreat? And as you can see right here, thank you, Ms. Gutierrez, for flipping to that slide. The senior class retreat at the ARC Center, the boys will return roughly about 10:30, give or take a little bit of time. They depart at 9, so it's a full day retreat. They are fed and fed well, but you can expect them to return to campus between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. Will graduation be streamed? Yes, that is the intent, that graduation will be streamed. It's always recorded, but we are understanding that it's unlikely that all family members will be able to attend, just given the protocols and spacing. And so we have every intention of streaming the graduation ceremony. I'm going to continue on the slideshow and then circle back to the rest of the questions as I'm able to. So the senior class day of service is a new concept that we're really excited to pilot this year, where the boys would all be at Fort Snelling Cemetery and work for the morning together to help clean up the cemetery and do some general maintenance out at Fort Snelling, which is really close to STA, of course. We'll provide lunch, and we'll also provide some time for them just to hang out as a class and maybe do some yard games and some other things just to relax The following day, on the 21st, we've got another senior class day of service. If you recall, you probably saw communication from us earlier in the I guess we'll call it late winter, where as a school we did a STA food pack, and the seniors were intentionally left out on that because we wanted to reserve that for them during this senior service week. So the seniors will have their food pack that day. So it'll be a food drive and a food pack. Again, that'll be a morning activity. Lunch will be provided to them. And then it's really a last opportunity for us to go through with them some of the administrative information as it relates to graduation week and all sorts of things like that. So a really great week of service and camaraderie and brotherhood on that week of the 17th. So as it pertains to senior service, that lottery selection occurred in March already, and it was merit-based depending on how many service hours your son had, or that they had the requisite service hours already completed. Just a couple of notes from Mr. Seidel, who really runs our senior service project program and just does a remarkable job in organizing all of it. One is attendance, and that only excused absences or scheduled games, so not practices, or family celebrations, things that are once in a lifetime, are permitted. Please do not schedule corrective surgeries, elective surgeries, family trips, things that, while yes, need to get done or we wish to do during that time, nevertheless, they're not required. These are academic days, and the senior service project service in general is a requirement, a graduation requirement. And so that time will have to be made up prior to graduation, and it really can put people in a pinch. So if you have questions, I would recommend that you contact Mr. Seidel, or if you have questions about placement. And I think the boys have been in contact with him regarding those placements. The one question about the Archbishop's review. The Archbishop's review is on the 28th of April. That's a week from Wednesday. Will the seniors be writing will you be writing letters to the seniors for their retreat? Yes, I expect that you will be. Mr. Lakin, who's in charge of that senior treat program, he should be in contact shortly with the logistics about the retreat itself, but I fully expect that we will be asking you to write letters to your seniors as well. As it relates to graduation, this is a great slide to answer this question. How many family members can attend graduation? As of yet, we don't have a number. At a minimum, we expect parents to be welcomed, but we're looking at how many we could expect to offer that opportunity in a single family. And we just don't know that number yet, and we will provide that as soon as we possibly can. I understand a lot of logistics go into planning for that for each family, but also for us at the school. A lot of that, unfortunately, is going to come in the weeks ahead of us. Can grandparents attend the Archbishop's review? At this time, we're asking that it only be parents of seniors. From a capacity standpoint, we are limited to that. And so we ask that it only be senior parents that attend the Archbishop's review. I'm not sure that we're going to be streaming it, but I can check into that. And if we are, or if we can, I will pass along that information so that your relatives can watch the Archbishop's review. The academic awards this year, and we did this last year and the year prior, we will be separating them up over a series of formations. We want to make sure that we give them their appropriate attention, and formation is a great opportunity where we're all gathered together with a common purpose to recognize those academic awards. So that will be starting, in the coming weeks. We're finalizing some of those awards today and tomorrow. Many of them have already been determined, but we will be breaking up the academic awards over a series of formations. As far as it relates to graduation, again, I've mentioned some of these things already. Seating will likely be assigned. We'll talk through the logistics of that. Believe me, Father Ubel gave me a schematic of the cathedral floor and every single pew and every single seat within that pew. So they are fully understanding of how to work through the logistics with schools such as ours and other entities to host events, and we will do everything that we can possibly do to maximize our presence there with your families, with the boys, of course, that are graduating, with our faculty and staff. We will be sending a follow-up email to all of you shortly to confirm names. If you haven't received that already, you can look for that from Tammy Greenlee. And we want to make sure that we have all the formal names, the names that you want on the diplomas for your sons, to be accurate. And so look for that email. Please do fill that out as soon as possible and get that back to us. And then the last piece, all tuition and fees need to be paid by May 14th in order to receive your final transcripts and the diploma at graduation. That's just the standard messaging thing from us. If you have questions related to that, or you're on a plan, or you need to work through something with our business office, our Director of Business Affairs, Pam Kunkel, is happy to speak with you. There's her email address at the bottom of the screen. Please do that. Don't wait till the last minute. If for some reason you have a situation where one parent cannot attend the Archbishop's review and the other can, then a grandparent could take their place, yes. But it's 2 maximum per cadet in the stadium for the grandparents' day review. So again, I guess the better way to say it would be 2 maximum of 2 family members during the Archbishop's review, preferably parents, but if grandparents take their place, so be it. All right, on to academic piece. Second semester notes. So as I mentioned, we're rapidly approaching mid-quarter, 4th quarter. So bottom line is in the messaging that we've been given to the boys is just to finish the year strong. To do that, as we all have learned in this crazy year, being in school, not in distance learning whenever possible, is of paramount importance. So please support us in supporting that message to your sons. I know that some of them may be drawn to doing some distance learning on specific days when they have a test or when they have a late night. Please help us in encouraging the boys, hold them to that standard of being in person whenever they can be, because as we've seen, they do much better academically in person when they can interact as they're used to with their peers and with their teachers. So second semester grades, and Ms. Gutierrez and Mr. Erickson could speak to this a little bit more than I can later in the presentation. They do matter, and colleges do look back on those grades, the AP exam scores, things like that. They can rescind acceptances. More often than not, if that's the case, it would be a rescinded scholarship or something like that. we really want the boys to finish strong so that they can receive their full package from the schools that have accepted them and are excited to have them in the fall. So again, just reemphasizing that to the boys. They've worked hard to get where they're at during their career at STA, and it's important to finish strong for a number of reasons, and maybe chiefly among them is the financial impact next year. This slide is just a rundown of our graduation requirements. It is listed in the student handbook, but just a quick review, of course, of the requirements. English 4 years, fine arts you got a half year, health, leadership all 4 years, math. So some of these classes or disciplines like math, science, and social studies, world languages too, we require 3 years, but many selective colleges require 4 years, and I know many of the seniors are taking 4 full years of each of those as well. We'll be doing our checks on their, essentially our audit on their credits here to ensure that they have met all their graduation requirements. Any students that are short of that or are in danger of not fulfilling that, there will be ample communication as it relates to that, and we'll be working with the students and the families to ensure that those boys graduate. Let me check and see if I have any other questions. What time is the Archbishop's review? I believe our beginning time is around 1:45. I believe we've asked people to arrive at 1:45. We'll get started close to that as well. Please review the email that I did send out last week related to that. If you have any questions, just contact me. I'm sure we'll also send a reminder email to your accounts as it relates to Archbishop's review. At this point, I am going to turn it over to Ms. Gutierrez and Mr. Erickson to talk about college counseling.
Hello, everyone. Okay, I think my screen went away. I need to stop showing this. We ran into this problem last time. So
it did go away. Maybe they only get to see me then.
Only you. That's the
me.
trouble of being in charge of the PowerPoint. You can only see Casey, you can't see me. So
How
hello, everyone.
disappointing.
Norma Gutierrez here, and you know Casey. Hopefully you guys know us well. And so we, really what right now, this is, I know some boys have made their decisions of where they want to go. There's a vast majority, I feel like, are still deciding, and that's perfectly okay. It's keep us posted with decisions. We're here to help your sons figure out if, the pro and con list of if they're vacillating between different colleges. That's what we're here for. It's still not too late to apply for scholarships. We know college is really expensive. Mr. Lundberg just sent an email out on Friday. There were some scholarships that were just for seniors and some were for juniors, but encourage your son to keep applying for them. Also, make sure your sons are checking their email often. If they have already decided what college they plan to go to, they should have set up their college email, because that's how the college is going to start communicating with them. And that's where they get information about orientation and moving forward. So they need to start to register or to set up their college email if they've made a decision. If they haven't, that's okay, but just make sure they keep checking their email, making sure they're not missing any key points or any information from the colleges. Again, if they have made a decision, make sure that your sons complete their housing applications. If you're still deciding between colleges, review scholarship award notices. Colleges are very receptive to negotiations. And so we've had many parents talk to us about negotiating. If your award package isn't where it needs to be, reach out to our admissions rep, reach out to the financial aid office. If you're not quite sure who to reach out to, ask Casey or myself, and we're happy to help you with that. And then if your son has already decided where he wants to go, make sure he signs up for orientation and completes all the placement exams. Oops. Other key important dates for us. So May 1 is the confirmation deadline. So your sons do have a few more weeks. If you're in the negotiation process with trying to figure out money and you're down to 2 or 3 colleges, you can ask for an extension. Some colleges are willing to give you a couple of days extensions, others are not. But if that's something that you need, it doesn't hurt to ask. So go ahead and ask that. And our college swag picture that I'm sure many of you know, where the boys are wearing their t-shirt or sweatshirt of their college choice. That's going to take place on Friday, May 7th at 9:30 in the court. So just make sure if your child has made that decision where they want to go, that they have a t-shirt or sweatshirt ready for that picture on the 7th. And now I'm going to turn it over to Casey.
It's a fun picture. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about scholarships. So each and every year we want to recognize individuals who have received scholarships from either outside resources or even from other institutions at which they don't plan to attend. Obviously, we know that our boys apply to a lot of amazing schools, and sometimes that amazing school doesn't always offer merit-based scholarships. So we always like to recognize that effort and work done by the boys. So in the graduation program, we will put the college in which your student plans to enroll and attend. And then underneath, we list a number of scholarships that they may have received from other universities, as well as any outside scholarships that they've received as well. So please get us that information as soon as you can. I know a lot of you maybe went out and filled it over the weekend because the survey just shot up a bunch of responses, and we really appreciate that. But we would like to have all scholarships reported to us by May 14th to ensure that we can get them listed into the graduation program and make sure that your son is represented. Now, of course, this is not required by any means, but we do want to recognize the boys. It also helps us as counselors understand what institutions are presenting our students with academic merit-based scholarships and where we can kind of plan on or advise future cadets on where they could potentially receive scholarship dollars. So it is a little bit of a pay it forward. We have had families in the past even ask that we not share the scholarships, but they want to give us the data and information, and that's fine too. We want to respect every family's wishes in that regard, but we can't do that if you don't provide some of that information to us. So please try to get that to us. And down there is the link, and there should be, I think we've emailed out a couple of links too, but if you have questions, just let us know. And then a couple of reminders. Each and every year, we tend to remind the boys about their social media preference. I know that over the summer into graduation, it's pretty easy to want to take a lot of pictures with your friends and have very goofy pictures and put them out in the universe. We have sometimes been contacted by a college about maybe an inappropriate picture that was set as an avatar, or even a few national scandals that have taken place in the media. Go back 2 years to where Harvard actually expelled a number of students, I think up to 300, that were participating in a chat group that ended up being quite offensive. So we do want to remind the boys again, and they are going to hear this from us, about the importance of being smart with social media. You know, the good rule of thumb, of course, is don't put anything on social media that your grandmother wouldn't like to see. So we're going to stick with that point and continue to remind them about that presence. Brian touched on the importance of staying on target with grades and making sure that you do finish strong. Every university is a little bit different on how they'll handle this policy, but in more recent years, even the University of Minnesota, if a student's grades plummeted or they got a D or an F, they were asked to write a letter explaining why their academics had fallen off. I don't know about you, but in the summertime, the last thing I want is a call from one of our cadets saying that they have to write a letter to their university to explain why their grades fell off. So these are the big reasons why we continue to say stay on track, finish out the year strong, and do the work now so you don't have to do it later in the summer. And then final transcripts, the day after graduation, Norma and I send out the transcripts to all of the universities and colleges in which your sons have confirmed to. So we send it to that one college that they decided to confirm their enrollment to. If things change, for example, if they are taken off of the wait list and they are going to change their enrollment, you'll just need to let us know so that we are sending your transcripts to the right place. For any student athletes, we will also upload this final transcript to the NCAA portal as well. So that's all done seamlessly at the same time the day after graduation. I see there is a question in the chat real quick that asks, when does the cadet email get shut off? It's typically a year. So we let them have the cadet emails for at least 1 year after they graduate. So students will have access to that information and give them some time to maybe transfer some things over that they receive from their college or university. At this stage, though, I think the vast majority of the colleges are going to communicate through the accounts that our boys have created with the university, and that will become the official way that the university starts communicating with them, especially regarding orientation and those important sign-up dates. And we will now turn it over to the yearbook and Tom Weber.
Hi. So I'm here to talk about the yearbook. So everyone will receive a yearbook free of charge. You will have your name embossed on it as it will appear on your diploma. To make sure things are accurate in the next week, you receive a digital proof of your senior section. And I think Norma, do you have a slide of that? Okay, maybe not. So it will be a picture. There it is. So it'll be a picture that looks just like there of Baker. What I want you to do is proof it. Make sure that it's the spellings are accurate. It has all the information that you sent us in the form of that Google form, and basically just make sure we did our job correctly. Please be thoughtful when you're looking at it. Like if every accomplishment that you've ever done ever throughout school is on there, it might be a little bit too much. List awards and accomplishments that are truly meaningful. The last thing I want to say, a couple things, is that remember it's a proof, and that give the yearbook a little bit of grace. We're doing our very best to make sure that it's a memorable one. And the sooner you get it back to me, the more accurate it'll be for us. I will also post this on the wall outside my room in Flynn Hall. I'll have all the seniors section up, but please only comment on your own. And again, remember that it's a proof. All of your yearbooks will be sent to you in the fall. That's something that they changed last year, I understand. It used to be a spring edition. But what's really nice about having it in the fall is that all of those spring sports will be in there. Your graduation pictures will be in there, and everything that happens right through graduation will be included in the hardcover book. I'm kind of excited about that. So yeah, we're doing our best to make it a memorable book, and hopefully you should all get a proof real soon. And that's it for me.
Well, again, on behalf of all our presenters this evening and all the faculty and staff at St. Thomas Academy, I want to thank you for joining us tonight for the Senior STA Spring Parent Night. And we look forward to finishing the year strong and to helping your sons finish their career strong here at St. Thomas. You know, today was the first day that we had all of the seniors in the court this year. and the energy was high, as you can imagine. Of those 18 days we have left of school, we'll see how many we can make it with all the seniors in the court. But I know that they're appreciative of it, and it's just so great to see them together as a class, all in one place. And so a big thank you to them as well for showing their appreciation throughout the school year and adhering to the protocols and the limitations that we've had. But I think we've done a pretty good job of navigating our way through a really unprecedented time. And a lot of that credit goes to the boys and their continued adherence to the rules and respectful boundaries that they continue to follow. So looking forward to the remainder of the year. As I mentioned, if you have any questions remaining still from this presentation, we will send out additional information as some of those events near. But I guess I have one final question to answer, and we'll follow up with answers to others as well. As it relates to Eagle Awards and academic awards for those seniors, they will receive them. We haven't determined that yet. It may be their last day of school with some sort of special ceremony, or we will do it at baccalaureate mass. We haven't finalized that plan yet. I think we do intend on having parents here for that baccalaureate mass, but we're looking into our options for where we would locate that to ensure that we're in compliance with our capacity rules. More information for all the activities for Senior Service Week and senior projects will be coming out from Mr. Seidel, Mr. Lakin, and myself in the coming weeks. So please look for that. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer those. But again, thank you for attending, and look forward to seeing you back on campus here in the last month or so. Take care.
Hey, Mr. Edel, I'm sorry, there are a few more questions that
Oh, okay.
for boys that need to be answered.
Go ahead.
So one was, if your son gets off the wait list for this college that he really wants, yes, please just tell us, the college counselors, KCRI, and we will for sure send your son's transcript if he decides to not attend the school he confirmed to by May 1, but rather another school that he gets off the wait list. Absolutely, just let us know. And then for Mr. Weber, there was a question. Sorry, there's so many questions here. There's a question for you about the proof. When will the email be sent out for the proof?
So that section of the book was just completed today. I'll do my best to take care of it sometime next week, probably early in the week. I'll probably work on it over the weekend. Well, Monday I got off. I'll do it. How about I tell you, I'll take care of it on Monday.
And then Mr. Edel, is there transportation to Fort Snelling Day, or should the boys meet there? And what time should they be there?
I believe the boys will be meeting there. We'll communicate the time, the arrival time. I believe it's 9 or 9:30, but don't quote me on that. Again, we'll firm up the details and communicate those to the boys and to yourselves in the coming weeks. Another question I received was, will we send out a recording of this webinar? And we absolutely will. I will follow up with a short email and a link to this recording tomorrow. So look for that from me. Any other questions, Ms. Gutierrez?
When does the yearbook proof need to be approved by?
If I said as soon as possible, would that work?
Absolutely, Mr. Weber.
Thank you.
I think that is it, Mr. Edel.
All right. Well, we will call it a night then. Thanks all for attending. And again, we'll look forward to seeing you on campus as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.